What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Marcus.
And I'm Shelby.
And we are Crugers with the C. You messed up the intro again. You said we are. We're going to get this thing right one of these days.
Okay.
Silence. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. You are going to really have to tune into this podcast
Please
or this
do.
episode because we have faced so many difficulties on trying to present this material. And doggone it, we're going to do it.
This is our third time.
Third attempt. The devil is a lie.
Oh, he don't want us to talk to y'all.
You know what? He don't want y'all women to be encouraged.
He want to keep y'all down.
He want to keep y'all down.
But guess what? We not going to do it.
We ain't going to do it.
We not going to do
it. We're going to push through. We're going to push it to the limit.
Honey, and you know what, y'all?
Push it to the
Every
limit.
time we tried the video, he had a song, and it was a throwback.
I'm an archivist of music.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Archivist.
You know what I'm saying? So let's not keep the people waiting, and let's work against these technical difficulties. Cell phones binging, watches going off. It is still the month of October 2018, and we are still empowering, encouraging, inspiring,
us,
uplifting, we're embracing
women,
all of that. Whether you are
words of encouragement,
we ain't even gonna put a ethnic background or ethnicity or whatever all culture. Women. It's women, period. All women, all women. We want to uplift you. We want to just encourage, and we want to just bring you up, and we want to share some insights and have conversation with you. So what do you have today?
So today we're going to talk about what or who defines you and what gives you self-worth. What gives you self-worth? So yeah, I really want to talk about this because I think us women, we need to know this. It's important that we define. We know who we are, so we can have great self-esteem, not low, not high, awesome, great self-esteem about ourselves, so we can stand tall and stand strong.
But you want them to have high because you said not low, not high.
I just wanted to be above high.
Okay, I get you.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be mediocre.
No.
All right. So
lukewarm, no.
Right.
On point, yes.
Okay. I got you.
Got it? Okay.
I think they got you.
Okay.
All right. So what are some things that you had? Because you ready, ain't you? We're going to make it through this. We ain't going to have no more technical difficulties.
Hope not.
Yeah. So what are some things you had in mind?
Just about our images, our looks, how we look.
Right.
Are we focused on the perfect world? The perfect image, social media. Is it driving our success? Are we so motivated by materialistic things and we're not focusing on ourselves and making ourselves better? I wrote down, are you putting your value worth in mimicking others or bettering yourselves?
Let's break that down. Are you putting your value? Okay, we can't talk today.
I guess not. We don't talk too much.
And mimicking someone else or bettering yourself.
Right.
That's deep. Because I can read when you said images, it reminded me of a post that I saw on Instagram, and it was a female. She was a little heavier, but and ain't nothing wrong with that. But she was a little heavier. But on one picture you saw the real her. And on the other picture, you saw a Photoshop image. Now, the Photoshop image was a totally perfect picture. On the real picture, you saw that she had a bigger stomach. On the Instagram picture, that was totally gone. It was no stomach. It was no, flab. Everything was solid, perfect, firm. All of the stretch marks was gone and everything else. And I wondered, why would she do that? Why would you create that image? Now, when I thought about that,
and you say this photo was Photoshopped?
It was Photoshopped.
Okay. Like, it wasn't a before and after picture of losing weight.
No.
Okay.
And that's what I'm gonna get into, because I'm like, okay, if you had this picture Photoshopped for inspiration for you to meet a goal, that's good. You know, because maybe that's a goal that you want to reach. Maybe that's a way you would want to look. Do it. But are you doing that just to put it on Instagram so people could think you look that way? Mm-hmm. All right, we live in a world of filters. If you look on Instagram, people don't look like they look in real life.
Right.
Because of these filters. And that just made me think, like, why is she doing this? Is she a model? Is it something or it could have even been showing other women, like, you don't have to look like this.
Maybe.
Because you got to think, it took confidence for her to get up there and show her real self.
A picture has so many words.
Right.
It can mean a lot of things.
Or maybe it was just for a conversation piece and it's accomplishing its goal.
Maybe.
But with that thought, I'm like, but how many women actually think that they don't look good, even if they're a little heavier or whatever? How many people don't think that they look good? Or they have issues with how they are presented, or how they're accepted by society. Let's say that.
Right. A lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of women are like that. But I think that's a problem, because we have to be confident in what we have. We have to be thankful for what we have. Now, if you want to lose weight, I'm all for it, because I want to lose weight too. But it is not for anybody else. It is for myself. And it's for health reasons too.
Right.
So, and I just want to feel good. I want to feel better. I want to move better. I want to, live longer, know. So those are my goals and those are my motives. But if it's just for likes, then we got a problem.
Yeah.
So it's just so important that we have to understand what we're doing certain things for. Mm-hmm. And it should be for yourself, to better yourself, not to make somebody else happy. Right. Because at the end of the day, that person can leave and you still going to be by yourself.
And especially don't do it to entice
others.
Because a lot of times, and I'm a man, and I don't care if other brothers get mad at me. You got to step your game up. A lot of times, men don't look at you because you're... we may be interested. We might be looking at how you are presenting the product.
You sure?
What you mean about sure?
All men?
Did I say all men?
I don't know. I'm asking.
No, I'm just saying men in general. Okay. Like a typical man. Okay. Not the typical man, a typical man. A lot of times we'll look because you're showing something, or we'll look because it looked nice. Mm-hmm. But do you have it short enough to get our attention, but long enough to cover everything up? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
it's like, if you're just dressing a certain way, we're going to perceive you a certain way too by the way you dress.
Right.
And that was one thing that interested me in you, because you dressed a certain way. It was like... You weren't dressed like in a vulgar manner. What's the word I'm looking for? Not vulgar. Explicit? Is it? No, raunchy? I don't know. Hoochie. You wasn't dressed like hoochified. You were dressed like with class. I say yeah. That one I'm talking about.
Oh,
I say it's finna go down in the DM.
Honey, DMs wasn't out then.
Yeah, you is pretty old. But
God, we around the same age.
Is the same age. You're older than I am. Well,
just by a couple of months.
It don't matter. But one thing that attracted me was the way you dress. Oh. So we're gonna perceive you a certain way if you present something a certain way. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times I know people gonna get mad and they'll be like, well, that don't mean that this. A lot of times y'all women know what y'all doing when y'all dress a certain way. Yeah.
I know, because I have a dress in the closet.
Yeah, and I picked up on that.
Yeah,
let's give them the story. One time we had bumped heads, right? We got into a little dispute, or what some people would call an argument or a disagreement, right? Mm-hmm. And so I noticed that she went upstairs for a while. I'm like, well, what's she doing? like when you're arguing, you don't really want to pay attention to the person and talk to the other person. So she came downstairs with the dress on. Boy, my immediate reaction was,
Just messes whole mind up, y'all.
What they call it, the freakum dress?
Yes, that's what she called them, a freakum dress.
So you knew what you was doing. Y'all know what y'all doing when y'all dress a certain way.
Yes, sir.
But I do want to say that there's nothing wrong with being stylish.
It's not.
But just know that when you present a package a certain way, people are going to look at that package because they're interested in what that package represents. Mm-hmm. It's like, and I'm not luring women to food or anything, but if you go to a grocery store, you're going to buy a certain product because you know what that product represents. Mm-hmm. You're not
brand.
Brand. You're going to buy it because you know what that brand represents. So what are you representing, ladies? It's okay to look good. It's okay to look cute, but you can buy cute.
It's okay to have your little freakum dress every now and then.
I ain't going to say nothing.
Just put it in the box, ladies, and put it in the closet. I'm gonna address this to your married women.
Y'all be wanting to wear no freaking dress for just anybody,
Yeah, it's for a special dude in your life. Right. Get your freaking dress and have it when you got to get some act right.
It'll get his attention.
Yeah, it will. I know. He knows.
But fellas, sometimes you just got to stay strong. You got to stay strong, and don't let that replace the fact that there was a problem at hand. You got to still resolve the problem.
Man, please, after
bingo,
that problem will be long gone.
But I said all of that to say, it's okay to fulfill your fashion desires, but are you doing that for you? Or are you doing it to gain attention? Right. That's the question.
Basically, I just want women to know that we have to do stuff for ourselves. Mm-hmm. We have to make time for ourselves. We have to be thankful for what we have and work on what we don't have.
And that's hard. Being thankful for what you got, because sometimes you're just not satisfied.
Well, you know what? Everything that I'm going to say, what we're going to say today is going to be hard.
Right.
And I always say this, you have to take baby steps. It's not going to happen overnight. Right. And that's something that you have to understand. I don't think that's hard to understand. You need to understand that now. Mm-hmm. I say baby steps. You need to understand that now.
That's one thing you just got to grasp.
You got to grasp that because everything takes time. Losing weight takes time. Mm-hmm. Understanding who you are, your self-worth, and defining yourself, that is going to take time because we have different stages in our lives. We were little girls, we were teenagers, we were young ladies, and then we become women. Sometimes us women are still young ladies. You have to mature. You have to understand. And you have to be willing to do that too.
And that all comes with time.
It does come with time.
Mm-hmm. And you're speaking of taking time for yourself, and that just reminded me of the other night. Mm-hmm. I was in the room, you was in the front. The kids were probably in their bed by this time, and I just heard you laughing. Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, what's going on? At first, I thought you maybe saw a post or something on your phone, but then I realized you were watching TV. I was like, she enjoying herself, and that made me feel good because you had nothing to do. When I say nothing to do, you didn't have to cook, you didn't have to clean, you didn't have to do laundry, you didn't have to do anything else but take time for yourself, and you did it.
Yeah, I did.
And by you doing that, I felt so good because most of the time when you come home, you're not in that mood. That's not how you're feeling. It made me feel like you felt relaxed and you were just enjoying the rest of your night.
I really was, because I was doing something I like to do. Mm-hmm. I don't do it all the time because I record a lot of stuff that I like to watch, like these new shows or whatever. Sometimes they record till, the season is over because I don't have time to watch it. But last night I actually had time to sit down and watch TV. Right. And I was even on time it was recorded, but it showed earlier this week. Mm-hmm. So I was like on point. I was like, but yeah.
But that made me feel good because you were actually relaxing.
Yes. And that's another point, ladies. Mm-hmm. we have to take time and we have to relax. We do so much. We have so much on our mind. We have to do a lot. We may have babies, toddlers, or we just have teenagers that we are chauffeuring around to one game, to practice, to recitals, to rehearsals, whatever. We have to take time for ourselves. And that has to be mommy time, because we have to get our sanity back.
Your peace of mind.
Our peace of mind. Yeah. We have to. So I encourage you all to do that, because it was hard for me. It's still hard for me. I'm still taking my baby steps, but like you see, I did it.
Right.
And you have to do it.
And speaking of that, taking time for yourself, I think it's a time that when you take time for yourself, and this is something that I've been doing, because there's some changes I want to make in my life. And one thing that I realized that helped me was getting away from everything, getting away from everybody, taking time from, like, I hear a lot of people say they have their prayer closet. And when they go in their prayer closet, they're disconnected from everybody and everything. Everything is you and God, right? And I've been taking time and doing that for myself. Just finding that peace, that quiet, that where I have no distractions, and I take time and I reflect. I take time and I observe things in my life and the patterns of my life. You know, all of this, what I'm about to say, came out of this one time of reflection.
Okay.
You know, I was able to observe the patterns of my life. I was able to go back and observe, like, things that was taught to me by my parents or whoever affected my life. And I'm like, what do I think? You know, how do I really feel about this particular action? And that came out of me just reflecting. So I think that a lot of times women have so much in their head. That's why y'all always all over the place. And it's just like, if you're telling me something you got to do, 9 times out of 10, that's going to turn into 6 or 7 more things because you have so much to do. So I would recommend, you know, if whenever you do have time, have your leisure time to where you may want to watch TV or something.
Right.
But also find that time of quietness to where you can reflect. And you don't even have to be talking, just thinking about things and releasing things that's in your mind and writing it down. Like if you have certain goals, write those goals down, get it out of your head, because now you're clearing space.
Right.
It's just like if you have an iPhone, and I'm being salacious, you know, you hate to get that message saying
your storage.
Its storage is full. So when your storage is full, your phone ain't gonna operate, right? Stuff gonna stop, messages gonna keep popping up reminding you.
Right.
But when you go in and you delete and you get rid of the stuff that you don't need, guess what? Now you got space.
Right.
So it's funny because that's things that we have to do in our life.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
And one of the things that in my reflection period that I thought about is knowing who you are. And that's the same thing as what defines you. So knowing who you are, that's the key to life change.
Yes.
You know, so what defines you? Knowing who you are. Who are you? Like if I was to ask you, who are you? Would you be able to answer that?
Probably, maybe so.
See,
yeah.
the answer is yes or no.
Yes. It's not deep. Yes.
And I ain't talking about your name. You know, so and it's like knowing who you are, you know. And then another thing that came out of that was what are some goals that you want to reach? Say those goals out loud. Say
you have to speak them.
Yeah, say them so you can hear them. Like I love being around creative people, and I want to give a shout out to Daisy Davis of All Year Productions, because when I went and talked to her, I was motivated, right?
Right.
Because she had all of these sayings and quotes, and she had like a picture frame, and it was like a vision board. You have to be able to see what you want to do.
Yeah, my mom used to do that. Well, you know what? I don't want to say used to, because she still have those vision boards in her office. And when I was growing up, she had those boards. Did it stop again? Okay, my bad. Yeah, she had those boards, and you have to keep those positive images around you. those inspirational quotes, your goals, how you going to get to them, what happened with this and this and that. You have to keep those things in your view.
Right.
Because if not, out of sight, out of mind.
Right. So we talking about what defines you, right? Mm-hmm. So one of those questions is like, if you don't know how to answer that, and this came out of my period of reflecting, what defines you? I think about the person that I am, the traits that I have, and I think how my parents taught me. Now, my parents live one way, but the way that I live is totally different than their everyday life or their everyday routine, or the way they handle things, I handle them different. Now, they could only teach me what they know, right?
Right.
So my way of thinking, it comes with a mixture of things that they taught me and the things that I experienced. So it's like now having that time to reflect and think actually changed my course of thinking, because now I can think for myself.
Right.
Just because I was taught something and I didn't understand this earlier in life, but just because I was taught something one way doesn't mean that have to be law. You know, I can add my experiences to that base, to that foundation, and really evolve. And now I could take that and pass it to my kids. Mm-hmm. So now their options are more.
Right.
Their way of thinking is broad, and their way of thinking has expanded.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's some of the things that defines me. So you have to be able to have time to think and really figure out who you are and what defines you.
Yeah, I think that's important, because a lot of people, I'm going to say everybody, have things that define them that may be negative, and it's probably dealing with their past. Mm-hmm. And you cannot let your past define who you are right now, in the present or in the future.
Right.
So yeah, it is important to reflect and get to know yourself, who you are, because I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago.
Right.
And we go through stages in life, and you have to be able to reflect at all stages and grow definitely from all your stages, and just know that your past does not define your future.
Right. Now, I would say take those experiences, analyze them.
Right.
That's the thing that I wrote too. You have to analyze the things that's in your life. Mm-hmm. Because if you want change and if you want a different outcome, you have to have a change. So you got to analyze the things that make you do something a certain way. Why do I continue to do this way? And if you want to change it, now you have to have a plan of action. Mm-hmm. You know, and once you get that plan of action, other stuff gonna come. Mm-hmm. You know, how did I say it? The normalities of life will be affected.
Right.
So once you initiate that plan of change, you got to know that when stuff become to look different and different obstacles come, that's because of the change.
Right. I wrote this before we even talked about what you said, what you sent me. In order to have change, you have to do things differently.
Right.
And that's stepping out of your comfort zone. Yes, you're going to be scared.
Right.
Yes, you're going to be uncomfortable. Yes, you're going to worry. You just probably going to have all kinds of negative thoughts. But you have to know that's the enemy pulling you back and wanting you to stay where you at. Mm-hmm. You have to move forward, and you have to trust in God.
Yeah.
Because God is good. God is great. God... Wait. What Pastor Ken said. Dog it.
Oh, that Sunday that we went. Oh, I can't even think.
Oh, here it is. I got it. I have it written down.
Yeah.
Psalms 107:1. Give thanks to the Lord for he is good. He is love. No, that's not it, but that's a good one. His love endures forever. It was he does good. He is good.
He does good. He is good.
I'm finna find that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, go ahead, honey. Keep going. But I just want you to just stay motivated. I done got lost. But keep going, honey. I'm sorry.
Well, one thing is you have to stay motivated. And just like you were saying, things going to get hard. I'll give an example of if you want to get out of debt, right? Mm. If you're planning to get out of debt, the normalities of life will not be the same, because now you're going to have to initiate that plan of change. And that plan of change may mean not spending as much money. Mm-hmm. Now, you have to know that when you begin to get out of debt and you're working towards a goal and you start to look at your finances differently, your pockets ain't going to look as normal as they used to. Your pockets may not look as healthy as they used to. But one thing that you got to remember is that you're on a road to a different path. Because once you reach that goal, you're going to look back and be like, man, that was so hard. I was listening to an audio book, and the person who wrote the book was talking about how they always had money. Mm-hmm. He said, but he had to release a lot of stuff because he always had money. The way he was getting the money was going to either leave him dead or in jail. He says, so he disconnected himself from that way of living totally. And he said that when he made that decision, he went through years, probably, I think it was like 7 years of paycheck to paycheck and barely having enough money to keep his lights and utilities and stuff on, right? Mm-hmm. He said, but that whole time he was building something new.
Right.
And once he got through that initial phase, this man had generated so much money to the FBI came after him.
Wow.
Thinking that he was doing something illegal. Mm-hmm. You know, but one thing that he said, the place he found clarity at was in his closet.
Really?
In his peaceful space.
Yeah.
Hearing from God. And, you know, it was just like, that's crazy because we say we won't change, but are you willing to put in the work?
Yeah.
Are you willing to put in the work, and are you willing to tough it out through that change? Because you got to think about it. Once you start saying, I'm finna save money, stuff gonna happen.
Oh, yes.
Stuff gonna happen. But one thing that we forget, too, is that we can adapt.
Yes, we can. And like you told me earlier, you have to see the things that you're accomplishing.
Right.
Yes, it may be tough, it may be rough, not right now, but what are you doing? Mm-hmm. Look at your goal. Another example, I said I want to lose some weight before my birthday. Mm-hmm. And I gave myself a number. I didn't reach it, but I lost weight. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to sulk because I ain't reached my goal. But I have to think about it. I lost weight, period.
Right.
It wasn't that goal, but now I just keep on moving. I still have the ability to keep on moving. So I just need to go ahead and reach that goal.
Keep on moving.
Oh, Lord.
Hey, keep on moving. Don't stop now. Keep on moving. That is a motivating song.
I found some notes of what the pastor said. He said, speak these words. He is good. He does good. And, he was just talking about the goodness of God. Mm-hmm. And so we have to, that was just his quotes or whatever. Mm-hmm. But we have to remember that the goodness of God, he is good. He does good. And that's true.
Yeah.
It's simple.
And he'll do, this is my thing, all right? He is good and he does good. I think that we have to, this goes back to what I was saying about, because you was taught something a certain way doesn't mean that it has to be that way. Mm-hmm. God deals with us on all through the Bible, right?
Right.
That's the Bible. So he deals with all of us through that word. But he also deals with us differently. Mm-hmm. You like stuff one way. I like it another way. Mm-hmm. So we may get the job done, but we're not going to get the job done in the same manner.
Right.
It's not a generic way. I mean, we got to stop thinking of that generic way that God may deal with us. Like for me, he gives me the most clarity when I'm actually doing yard work. You know, a lot of people.
Everybody know that.
He gives me a lot of clarity when I'm doing yard work, right? But he might deal with you while you're doing something else.
Right. So
we really have to, and that will help define us. Once we figure out how God deals with us. Mm-hmm. You know, everybody is not the same. Yeah, your body is one body, right?
Right.
But your feet don't do what your hands do.
Right.
So we have to take out that generic way of thinking, like, because God did something for one person, it means he's going to do it for me the exact same way.
Right.
You have your own path. So you got to figure out how you and God work y'all thing out.
Right. And the verse that goes with that saying, he is good, he does good. It was Nahum. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Chapter 1, verse 7. The Lord is good, a refuge in times of trouble. He cares for those who trust in him. It
ain't Nahum. That ain't the Bible verse. Ain't Nahum.
I said Nahum.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
Like a lot of times, I don't think people be speaking from them hard books to pronounce because they don't know how to pronounce it.
I ain't know how to pronounce it. You want me to spell it?
Yeah, spell it.
Nahum.
That ain't Nahum. Oh, we're coming from the book of Nahum. The book of Nahum.
I'm done with you.
The book of Nahum, chapter 2.
What's the other one? How they say? Dang, I heard somebody miss.
Colossians. Colossians. I heard Ecclesiasticus or something like that.
I heard somebody messed that one up. That jump was so funny to me, but we was in a church setting. I couldn't laugh. I had to.
I'd have laughed.
Honey, you a mess.
Man, I be laughing. If it's funny, you gotta laugh. That's what I do. I laugh.
No, but y'all just go ahead and say that in y'all heads. He is good. He does good, because it's true. Right. It is true. The goodness of God. Okay, so let's get back on track.
All right.
So we said that, did we say this about inspirational things around you?
Yes.
Okay, so y'all ladies, remember that. Inspirational images, inspirational quotes, Bible verses. Don't find those on the phone. Get away from the phone.
Yeah,
do something different.
Distraction.
It's a distraction. Get a book. Get one of those little daily devotionals. Reflection. We know we need to reflect. We need to take time to clear our thoughts and write down some goals. Learn who we are, so we can
make it plain.
Yes, so we can define who we are and we can stand strong. Now, we also need to take some time and spend time with the Lord. And that should be the first thing that you do. And I can hear it now. I don't have time. I don't know how to pray. I don't know. I don't understand the Bible. This and thouest and doest and that is. You know what? They have different versions of the Bible. You don't have to be deep. You will not be deep probably when you first start. Right. And you don't have to spend an hour in the Bible. You have to take those baby steps. Key word for the day, baby steps.
Baby steps.
You have to take baby steps in order to get to a certain point in life. And once those baby steps will evolve. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Like we say we don't have time. And it's something that I struggle with. And it's something that I often, it's a change that I'm making. You get what I'm saying? All right. The first thing you do when you wake up is you're probably going to see what time it is.
Right.
That's going to involve you picking your phone up or even looking at a clock if you still have a clock. Now, once you look at that clock, the next thing you're going to do is probably either get up or start debating. You're going to debate about how much more time you got to sleep or how much time you overslept, or you're going to start, your mind is going to begin to race, right? Once your mind begin to racing, you're going to start thinking about everything else that you got to do in that day. But now I'm trying to train myself that when I first get up, the first thing I say, thank you, Lord, for allowing me to see another day.
Yeah, because he's the one who woke you up.
Right. That's going to set that tone.
Right.
Because once I do that, then I can say, okay, let me take this time. And it's crazy that we got to remind ourselves to do that. But we in the flesh, right? We
have to understand that too. We in the flesh.
Don't be so vertically minded till you know horizontally good.
Right. And I meant also you can't be so hard on yourself because you are in the flesh.
Right.
Baby steps.
You can't make an excuse. Baby steps.
Baby steps. You got to train yourself too to stop making those excuses because that will get in the way too.
That's one thing I wrote. What are the excuses you make to keep yourself from living the life you want to live?
That's with everything.
Once you just got to be honest with yourself.
Yeah, you do.
Just like I could come on here and say that I wake up every morning and the first thing I do is pray. I'll be lying.
Me too.
Because sometimes I get straight up and go use the bathroom.
I I know I do.
Man, boy, better be ready to explode. But what I'm saying is, you have to stop and really be thankful for that day, because you made it. You made it again. Somebody probably won't make it through that day,
right,
or didn't make it through that day. So before you start thinking about all the carnal things that we have to do, that's the first thing we should do, is be talking to God.
Right.
You know, and once I do that for me personally, when I say thank you, God, for allowing me to see another day, then at that point, I begin to give thanks. You know, then at that point, my mind, it varies. But a lot of times it go to thinking about my family and thanking God for them. And then it goes to praying for people. You know, so before you know it, I'm already on a different frequency than I was on the day that I didn't.
Right.
And the day that I picked up my phone first. Because you probably going to read something negative on whatever you doing. But once you start off talking to God, your frequency change.
Right.
You know, now you're in that spirit realm. You get what I'm saying? So, and then your day, you're going to start thinking about, oh, what can I do nice for somebody?
Right.
And that'd be a lot of times when I wake up and iron your clothes.
Oh, Lord, I need you to pray every morning.
I iron your clothes. I help out with stuff. And I'm putting others before me.
Right.
You know, and then you go out and for me, when I go out in the public, I'm speaking to people. I'm having conversations with people. And that's honestly what makes me feel good about myself. So it's doing something
because
that...
you happy inside.
I'm happy.
You have positivity in you.
Yeah. So that's just one of the things that we have to really understand. It's a necessity to spend time with God.
Yeah, you just got to make sure you have a strong relationship with God.
Right.
And not put others, items, things above him on the pedestal. That's it. Point blank. You got to get her done. And
one thing you have to understand, like the same way that God deals with me ain't going to be the same way he deals with you. Your thing may be singing. So you may wake up singing. That may be your connection.
Right.
Your thing may be writing. You know, that may be your connection.
Yeah, and I think, I'm glad you said that, because I think a lot of people think it's supposed to be a certain way. And it's not. You can, like you said, you can praise and worship. You can write in a journal if you're a writer. If you're a reader, you can read. If you're a talker, you can talk like you're having a full-blown conversation. I remember a while back I was praying, but I was walking around the room, and I didn't know Paige was still up. And she was like, "Mama, what you doing?" I'm praying, and she was like, "Oh, I thought you was talking to somebody." I am, but you know, she thought somebody was in the house, and I was speaking out loud too.
It better not be nobody in the house.
I was speaking out loud too, so I wasn't just, you know how sometimes we pray and it's quiet. No, I was walking around like I talk now with my hands, but I was praying.
Right.
I was having a conversation. I forgot Miss Betty. She is she's a pastor at a church, and she have these women events. She say she get in her car. She was like, "Come on, God. Come on, sit down right here, and we gonna have a conversation." And I guess I just imagine him getting in, putting his seatbelt on too, and they just riding to the destination and just having a conversation. You got to do things like that. What make you feel comfortable? That work for her,
right?
What works for you, and what works for you. Said it, but yeah.
And that reminds me of a pastor here in Gainesville, and he said that it's times that he go out by his oak tree. He said, "No, we are hours of the morning, and that's where he get his clarity."
Yeah,
you know, so it's different. There's not a boxed way to have your connection with God. Now, there's a right and a wrong way. There's some things that's wrong. We do have to know certain things are wrong. So I'm not saying anything is acceptable, because God don't accept just anything.
Right, but I think that that will become clear.
Right.
To people once they get deeper in their relationship with God and understand, their relationship with God, and understand what God, the do's and don'ts. I think that will become clear.
This like another pastor say, you cannot clean a fish before you catch it.
Right.
And what that means is, like, the analogy he gave was, people, you see young men coming, because he was a youth pastor. And he said, you see the young man come in church, they pants down, you know, they may not be dressed how we think they should be dressed for church. But one thing he said was, as soon as he said the first thing they walked in church, he said, and as soon as you start trying to fix them, they're going to rebel against it. So he was like, you have to catch them first. Allow them to come. Let them keep coming. And eventually,
they'll straighten up.
You'll teach them. You know what I'm saying? But it's just all for the women. You know, we're not going to go into that. We're not going to dive that deep off subject. But it's just something for y'all to think about. You know, you can't be hard on yourself either. Because we're so hard on ourselves. We're our own worst critic.
And you have to know, I got another verse for y'all. Therefore, there is no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. Romans 8:1. That's something important.
So stop condemning yourself.
Right. Like you said, we are our biggest critics.
Right.
So first it's us, then everybody on social media. That's the world, basically. So they really don't count.
Right.
Who count? Jesus count. So y'all just have to remember that.
And you count.
You count too.
You count. You have to be able to walk in your confidence. And a prime example of that is a lady. It's a lady at work, and when I'm leaving, I see her coming in. But you could tell by the way she walk that she's somebody. You get what I'm, like, we all somebody, but y'all know what I'm saying. Like, you could tell that she may be a supervisor, and it feel like I said this before. But one day I asked, I said, "What are you?" I said, "Are you a supervisor? Or are you the?" She was like, and she was humbled by it too. And this lady, she speak, and you know, because most people don't, they act snooty. You know, you got called snooty.
Yeah, I do.
They act a certain way, but this lady is approachable. And I was like, "What are you?" She was like, "Well, you know, I'm the head of the nursing department. The head. That means she the boss." She walked like it, and you can see it on her. She's walking in her confidence, but she didn't act like she couldn't be touched.
Right.
So, what you smiling for?
Because I'm up here giving y'all scripture, but I was just singing Rick Ross and Meek Mill in my head. I'm a boss. Hey, y'all just go ahead and crop the song and just listen to the chorus for some more inspiration. That's all. I was jamming to that in my head.
She's wailing. But you have to carry yourself the way that you feel.
Yes, you do. And even if you don't feel that way, still carry yourself, because I bet you eventually you'll end up feeling that way.
But be realistic.
Yeah.
Like,
please don't be. My mama always say, "Fake it till you make it." Yeah, you need to do that, but don't be real bad with it.
Right, because like, okay, let me give an example. Like at my job, a lot of new people come in, and there's also a lot of veteran people there. The veteran people could act a certain way because they have earned their position. But don't you come in 2 weeks on the job thinking that you could tell people what you is and ain't gonna do.
Oh, okay.
That's not what we're talking about. You know, because
humble yourself.
Humble yourself before I do.
See, I was getting ready to sing another song. I was getting ready to sing Kendrick Lamar. Be humble. You
better humble yourself before I do, because if I do it, it's probably gonna hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna come out of a place of love with it. You know, so whether you like it or not. But yeah, those women, those are some things that we just want you to add to your tool belt. You know, I
have one more.
No, let's keep going.
I have one more. I think us women, we are creatures that depends on our girlfriends, our best friends, our squad. We depend on those individuals. However, I need y'all to have individuals that is faith-filled individuals that are on a positive level. I mean, they don't have to be on the same level as you. It's just that you need to have another woman around you that is willing to encourage you, that's willing to hold you accountable and that's willing to check you. And you have to be that same person too. Us women, we do have jealous tendencies, and some stronger than others, and that comes with, I guess, those women that's insecure or whatever. So you have to watch who you're around. You have to watch who you tell your business to, and you have to have friends that's there for your best interests.
Right. On that topic, I want to say this. If you are a lady of older or more mature or more experienced woman, and you have people around you that look up to you, you have a responsibility. You have a responsibility to help mold them. They're not just your friends. I look at it like this. Nobody come in your life for a reason. I mean, just for no reason. Everybody's in your life for a reason.
Right.
And everybody's in your life for a time. So with that being said, you have to be able to empty yourself out on them. And that's being like, when I say empty yourself out, being real. You have to be able to motivate them. You have to be able to tell them what's right and wrong. You have to understand that your responsibility is to add value in their life.
Right. I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this, but I hear a lot of people talk about church women and how they frown their nose up at them because they have certain backgrounds or certain things. I just want to say, yes, that's a true statement. And I just want us to understand that that's something that we have to, as church women, Christian women, we have to be careful. I know I have my facial expression is mean and harsh, but I'm not. So I try to watch that. But us as women, older women, women that's experienced, we can't forget where we came from, and we have to, like you said, pour into those young women that may be going down a dark path. Right. We can't sit there and be judgmental. We can't sit there and frown up their nose like, I ain't got time for it. No, you may not.
Or treat them like they're not nobody.
Right. We got to stop doing that. So I just, I haven't experienced that, but I was around a lot of young girls and stuff. I hear them say that, and I just don't like that feeling, because y'all older women have so many gold nuggets that you can share, so much you can pour into a young girl that is going another way. You just have to relate to them. You have to, you may want to say it, but you probably got to reflect and say it another way.
And older women too. And this is out of a place of love. If you have something that you're bitter about, you have to be able to find somebody to deal with that with too. Because there's a difference between being strong and being bitter. We are people, and we should be able to, you can learn from a baby. So if you can learn something from this, you don't have to continue to deal with problems that you're dealing with. Right. Even if you're at a certain age. You can be free from those chains of bondage as well. Right. You could find somebody to release, and you might be able to find it from a younger person. So don't close yourself off if you think that you're at a certain age and this is the way it's just going to be, and you're bitter about it. Nobody should be bitter all the time. So that's one thing I wanted to say about that. But, talking about molding younger women, it was a post on social media. So this is the Save That Post segment with when Cardi B first got big, and what's Carmelo Anthony ex-wife?
Lala Anthony.
Cardi B was on the red carpet. Remember? Do you remember that post? Cardi B was on the red carpet, and Lala Anthony came and helped fix her up.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that.
She could have looked at her and talked about her.
Right.
Cardi B from the projects.
Right.
Lala Anthony been doing this type of stuff. So she knew what was acceptable. She knew the things to look for. But instead of her just letting her go, she went over there and fixed her up.
Yeah, and I just really would like for all of us to be like that with everyone. I do, because we need it.
And she didn't do it like in a way like, I don't even know if they knew each other, but the way she did it was like it was an embrace. Mm-hmm. You know, she embraced her and she pulled her up. She helped fix her up.
Right.
Now she could have been like, fix your clothes.
Right.
You know, that's
or she could have went and sat down and posted about it.
Right. Mm-hmm. She could have did that. Mm-hmm. But
that's all with maturity.
That's coming with knowing who you are.
Yes.
Being confident in yourself.
Mm-hmm. And then she probably looked back. Lala probably looked back and said, I was there one time.
Right.
And I think that's what we tend to forget sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I was there one time. I was a single mother. So therefore, I am passionate about helping a single mother and letting her know it's okay.
Right.
You can get through this.
Right.
And a lot of them I used to hear, oh, ain't nobody going to want me with no child. Child, please. That's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen. It will work out for you.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You cannot put no limitation on God.
No, you can't. Another Save That post of where somebody was being fixed up was a choir director the other day.
Oh, Lord.
This lady, the title of the post was when wearing that slip faithfully finally pays off.
You know what? Denise commented on that. I meant to reply to her. She talking about, oh Lord, another thing to worry about.
This lady was directing a choir, and it looked like a huge event.
Yes,
it looked like a huge event, and she was doing the things with her hands. And once she went up and she stretched her hands up, her slip fell down.
Her skirt fell down.
Now let me show you the thing about people really showing the full story. Mm-hmm. Now this is how I'm taking this. When you saw that clip, all you saw was the lady slip fall down, and then she picked it up, mm-hmm. and she went back to directing. Was that the clip you saw?
Yeah.
Okay, let me tell you, it was another clip.
Okay.
It was another clip. It showed the exact same thing, but from a different angle. And when she pulled her dress back up, and she went to directing, a lady came from the side and stood behind her and fixed her clothes.
Oh.
See, I saw that clip, but see, they didn't show that clip.
Well, yeah, that's social media. They show you what they want you to see.
Right. Ooh, that is. Ooh. Don't show people what they want to see. Mm-hmm. Show them you.
Exactly.
It's just like a job interview. You go in and a lot of times you show people what they want to see. Show them you.
Yeah.
Don't show the man what he want to see. Show him you.
Yes. It reminds me of some of them posts when you be at work. Dang, how it went when you lied on your resume.
But you still get the job.
You still get the job. Mm-hmm. It's somebody stressing or throwing papers around when you lied on your resume and you don't know what to do. It's something funny. Show them you.
Because a lot of times that's really what they're looking for. Mm-hmm. I could take that advice for myself.
A friend of ours, he said, man, if I was dating now, me and the girl, our first date would be going swimming.
Because all of that makeup, you got to break that foundation.
Yeah, and my coworker said today, we was talking about eyelashes, and
shout out to Metha.
We was talking about eyelashes and eyebrows. Eyelashes. The girl had the fake eyelashes on the top and the bottom. Mm-hmm. And my coworker said they were okay, but my coworker says she thinks she likes eyelashes, but certain things should be natural. It should be enhancing your natural beauty, not changing you completely. Like the makeup, you shouldn't look like an Ugg mug when you take it off.
A butterhead. You know what a butterhead is? Everything look good but a head. Oh, my bad. We supposed to be bringing y'all women up. It was just a joke.
But yeah, I guess that could be something too to put in your little toolbox or your little nugget.
Enhance your beauty.
Enhance your beauty. Because y'all balling, y'all can keep up with your eyebrows. You're getting your lashes done, your nails done, your toes done. You're getting wax. You're getting hair in your hair. That's a lot of goddamn money.
But it ain't nothing wrong with it.
It's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it, but don't be so consumed with
that
till you forget what you look like. You know,
oh,
what?
Made me think of a rapper.
Don't talk about
female.
her. Don't talk about her. But she looked like a cat.
Meow.
And she wasn't a bad looking person to begin.
All.
See, a lot of times you think you look a certain way. But this whole time we've been saying don't do that for them, right? The whole time you think that you might be looking bad or you might be overweight, somebody like it. You know, and you know, it's certain things that you have to just really navigate through and understand that just be you.
Yep. And enhance yourself, better yourself. Don't completely change yourself for somebody else. If you completely changing yourself, make sure it's for yourself in a healthy way.
How they say it is what it is.
Right.
But just don't be like so content with yourself to where you can't move forward. If that's what you want to do, then you do it. But most likely you're going to get the same results. But if you're looking to better yourself or you want to be more confident with yourself, you have to build that confidence because most of the time nobody's going to do it for you.
Right.
You have to build that. You have to wake up and look in the mirror and say, I'm smart, I'm kind, and I'm beautiful.
It is so important. It is so important that we are equipped with stuff, quotes, even that. I am smart.
I forget. I gotta research how she really said it.
Yeah, but it's just important that we have those tools and information and things that we can get through our day because our days get rough.
Right.
Every day is not perfect, and sometimes we just need a push. Even if you gotta call a friend, make sure that's the right friend you calling.
Right. And you gotta love yourself.
Yep.
So we're gonna leave it at that. We hope that you took away something out of this.
Yes.
Reach your goals. Write your goals down. Say your goals out loud. And when it get like too hard and you feel like you're at your end and you feel like there's no progress. You feel like there's no progress. I want you to stop. I ain't say quit. What I said?
Stop.
I said stop. Stop and observe the progress that you made. And enjoy the progress that you made.
Yep.
Reward yourself for the progress you made. And once you do that, get back on track.
Remember baby steps.
Baby steps.
And make it happen.
Make it happen. Until the next time, I'm Marcus.
And I'm Shelby.
And we're Crugers with the C.